We're talking all things Streetball Madness Asia Pacific, November 10, 11 and 17, a huge grand final day on 17 at Festival Hall. Be there. And my name is Carl Beston, and I'm here today with tournament founder Alan Lian. Welcome, Alan. Pleasure to see you.
Thanks, Carl.
Now, why Streetball Madness Asia Pacific?
So last year I involved with the Streetball Madness tournament with Jermaine, Peter, and you.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole tournament for the 3 days, but I didn't see enough Asian fridges showed up because this is my community, and I think our community had we're really passionate about basketball, but I just couldn't figure out a reason why there's only local people there and the Asian community is not even one of them involved. So that's why I talk about Asian community with Jermaine, and I believe we should do something together to bridge the Western and Eastern community together. So that's why I started Streetball Madness Asia Pacific.
Talk about the relationship between the Asian community, in particular the Chinese community, and basketball itself here in Australia.
Okay, so I think for me and for my community, we grew up in China, and I think most people think table tennis is the most famous sport in our country, but I think most of our boys play basketball and soccer, I think, more than table tennis. And when I first came into Australia, basketball is the thing that to help me to connect with the local community, because mostly Aussie kids don't play table tennis. They play basketball, they play footy and soccer. So that's why I think basketball means a lot for us. And you check out RMIT outside court, you see lots of Chinese and Asian people playing basketball. So that's why I think it means kind of like a bridge, or also maybe a part of our life. But it's more like a hobby, because I think for American people, basketball is something can put the food on the table for them, but for us it's more kind of like a hobby. It's just pure love.
Yeah. So there's a real relationship between basketball and Australian community. Yeah. But let's talk about on a more macro level, I guess, internationally. Talk about what basketball means back home in China or in Asia generally.
Okay, so basketball is I think everybody watches basketball, and this is the big time sport. And for some people in China, we have in the past, I think 10 years after Yao Ming promoted NBA back home, the whole Asian community are crazy about it, and some of the people fight so hard for for basketball to maybe to make out their careers and life stories. So, and some people I think train themselves pretty hard to try to make the professional league, trying to play NBA, trying to play outside of the country.
Yeah. Well, what does basketball mean in your life? I know we've spoken about the community generally, but what has it meant to you?
So I think before I came to the country, I was a music student, so I always play all the music stuff. But when I first came in, the first day, I've been at Wesley College, my high school. I got one of my friends, his name is Hugh O'Donnell. He said hi to me in my first PE class, and that's we play basketball together, we play all the sport together. So basketball is kind of like a bridge for me to be part of the Australian community, and that's the place where I learned how to speak English. Also was in Australia, Australian people playing basketball, it's about Australian basketball style, the full court press, the screen and physical games.
Yeah, and it's amazing how basketball can be this relationship builder irrespective of language or whatever. Now, speaking of music, you said you're a music student. What made you think to bring Edison Chen for Asia Pacific Streetball Madness?
So personally, I'm a big fan of him because he's the guy to start promote hip-hop music culture in China, and in that period of time, hip-hop music is still underground because the social mainstream don't really accept it, and he's the guy face all the difficulties, all the haters really hate him, but he's still trying to keep doing the real thing, and his style of his hip hop music is all about real. So he said real, recognize real, and that's why I'm a big fan of him. And I think he's a big basketball fan as well. He had several connections in the NBA, and he's one of the ambassadors for Nike in China, in Asia as well. And he's not only famous in the Chinese community, but he's also the guy, everybody knows him in the Asian community.
I mean, you're doing some big things, right? Bringing Edison Chen and all. But the thing about it is, what are your expectations? I mean, it's huge this year, but what are your expectations, not only for this tournament, but also into the future with Streetball Madness Asia Pacific?
So, because I think, the reason why we name it Asia Pacific is because, Australia, New Zealand, and also the whole Asia is, together. So, I want to see, this year, the reason why we separate the tournament to the local ones is because, I think some people are still scared to talk and to play with the local community. And so I want to, make sure they play together first, and then one of their championship team, I will bring the championship team to the local community and to play with the local people, and to see, if after 1 year or 2 years, people were not scared to play with, people speak the different language. Basketball can be a bridge to bridge the Western and Eastern culture, and also the two communities. So I think maybe 5 years we can just do Streetball Madness Asia Pacific. That's not where only Asian people play. It's all about the whole community, Black, Asian, white, three, communities to be evolving together.
Talk to me about your relationship with basketball and what it means to you.
Okay, so firstly, I'm a huge basketball fan. My favorite team is the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously the late Kobe Bryant, and also you got all the Hall of Famers and legends, NBA legends, and I'm a big sneakerhead as well. I've been invited to all the several sneaker freaker activities, and also I collected I've got 300 shoes collections, all the limited release about Kobe Bryant, about the Jordans, and even the shoes I wear today is the Jordan 13. He got the game. That's from one of the movie, reality this movie. And 3 years ago I was lining up in front of the Foot Locker, for one of the favorite pair of shoes, and I've got so many friends from my community, really passionate about basketball shoes and basketballs and all the stuff about basketball. And I think there's for the Air Jordan 6, the World Cup release, we've been there for 2 days, so we almost sleep there. I bring my sleeping bag as well, and this is about my basketball shoe stuff. And also, when I collecting all the basketball shoes, they all have their own stories about the colorways, the designs, the number designs, and that make me feel part of the basketball world as well. And besides of that, in Melbourne, in Australia, we got a huge population of the Asian community, and every year the NBA, NBA stars coming to China, they do their Asian tours. We can't be part of it because we have to stay here for our schools, for our families, for our business stuff. And when we have the local kids, Aussie kids, Ben Simmons and Dante, when they coming back here, they're doing their own camps, but we don't have the source to know about the camp details. So that's why we had no participation in about the basketball camps. So that's why I'm trying to start up my own business to try to promote the culture, firstly in basketball, because I think this is a good way. I did one of the Asian community event with the Houston Rockets player Eric Gordon as well, because I think when our society and the community are really passionate about basketball, so how can someone not doing anything for the Asian community? So if no one trying to do it, I'll do it because I love my community so much. I love basketball so much. So I want to be, my dream is to be ambassador of basketball, to connect my culture, my community to the whole local community, and also, trying to make my community people to, have a chance to meet NBA players. This year we have Gary Payton coming in with Edison Chen. So, all my Chinese basketball fans and Asian basketball fans can have a chance to, sit with them together to watch a basketball game, to talk about basketball thing. So that's why I think basketball means a lot for me.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you arrived in Australia in 2013, right? And you've told me the story of how basketball has helped you build relationships and friendships and just connections with the community when that occurred. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so obviously I'm from the capital city of China, Beijing, and this is a big city that people loves about basketballs. We have a place called Dongdan. This is like the Chinese Rocker Park, That's where all the basketball fans, from there, and they have a Nike Sunday Sunset tournament every summer, and that's where I came from. And I think when I first came here, because of basketballs, I got opportunities to meet with Dante, with Benny, with and also my friends like you and Jermaine and Adam. Those guys, we're all passionate about basketball, and that's why we've been connected to each other, and to start up doing something for one common goal. It's about basketball. And I stayed in the language center for 2 months. That's my first 2 months in Australia, and then came back home for a holiday, and then came back for Wesley College. And Wesley is always being a school that supports students not only about studying in the classroom. It's all about to participate, to be truly educated by the school. And Wesley gave me a sense of belonging and honor to be part of the school, to be a part of our house, to be part of our purple and gold uniforms. So that's why I think for me to first year 10 I didn't play basketball. I was not that good. I only played the year 10 basketball teams, and after that I tried so hard. I would stay for the outside court, training myself every day, every night. And then next year, year 11, I've been selected into the Wesley college team to play the APS competition. And it's opportunity for me to make more friends, to connect with more people, and to learn. Because I'm my team is I'm the only Chinese student from my team, and all of my friends, teammates are supporting me, with my English problems, and teach me about some basketball language in English, and also the way they live in the country. They teach me the Aussie get at might, and the you guys have barbecues every week only, and you call the tomato sauce the that horse, all the things I really like it. So that's all because of basketball.
Yeah, no, that's it's funny because you speak that you have Streetball Madness is somewhat of a Asia Pacific is somewhat of a reflection of you, right? It's about fashion, it's about music, you're a music student, right? And it's about the basketball, sport, etc. So many elements of the community. Now we talk about the music. I want to talk about this music thing very quickly because you've made the decision to bring Edison Chen to Australia, which is huge for this event. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of him, Edison Chen. Also his brand Clout. And he's doing, a culture thing like Bruce Lee, because when you try, when firstly ask you about any favorite Asian celebrities, you're gonna think about Bruce Lee, because this is a guy, everybody knows him. He's the face of China.
He's an icon.
Icon. And Edison Chen, I think he'll be the next one, because what he's doing right now is trying to bridge the culture, and he's trying to use some common sense, a common interest in, for example, shoes, fashion, and music, and also basketball, to try to create an opportunity for Western and Eastern communities to talk about it, to be involved. And also, he's the guy, started up, he's promoting hip hop music in China. Even the time was underground and government is not really encourage people to listen to them and also to get in touch with the culture. But I keep doing it for, I think, so long, like 20 years or 30 years. And that's like unbelievable, because culture is not something you can do it really quickly and rush it. It's something goes really slow, and it takes time for people to get in touch with the culture, to be familiar with the culture, and to love the culture, to share the culture. So that's why I think Australia is such great country. Have diverse culture. People from different countries, backgrounds, and stay in the same country, the same land. No matter where come from, and we're still trying to work on a common goal, and that's the culture I want to create. A culture that everybody's loves it. So it makes sense for everybody.
And I mean, you've made some big moves already. Obviously, bringing Gary Payton out here, bringing Edison Chen out here. What are your expectations for Streetball Madness, not only this year but into the future?
So I believe this is a good opportunity for all my communities, and also because I think there are still people from Asian community that not involved with basketball that much, because obviously now computer games is really hot, and some of my little brothers are already playing computer games so much instead of a sport. And I think but they still love Edison Chen, and we've got some basketball fans will be the audience, about Gary Payton and also Edison Chen. And we've got some people that not involved with basketball right now can be involved
With the
by the tournament. So that's why I'm trying to encourage my community to play a sport, because this is a way can create opportunities for them to speak this language, to be part of the culture, the community, and also the society. So that's where all begins, because obviously I'm one of the example. Basketball really make me connected to the whole society. So
it's a way to create relationships, and it's a fantastic way to do that. Well, you should be. I can't wait to see this tournament. I congratulate you on putting it together. It's going to be great for the community and the culture, and for basketball fans everywhere. So, Streetball Madness, Asia Pacific, November 10, 11, and a huge final day, a festival hall on the last day. You do not want to miss it.